What everyday skill becomes suspicious if you're too good at it? Weighing small quantities and knowing convenient reference weights, the weights of currency. Identifying off-white powders. I'm a chemist. Side note, what's the deal with weights of coins? Edit, Super Ninja Bot's explanation. They are a consistent weight. You use them to calibrate pocket scales when selling drugs. Being able to tell who is in the bathroom with you at work. I almost always know. There's one bathroom. And the way to that bathroom is like a three-way intersection, where my office door is. People walking towards the door would only be coming from the back of the building, and that's only going to be one of two people. It's easy to tell which way anyone came from, just by listening when they walk by, and the sound and speed of their footsteps. The other way is on the opposite side of the building, and again, I would hear them coming from that direction, before they pass by my door. 90% of the time anyone in the bathroom is gonna be the guy with ibs that shits 20 times a day. Recognizing people's smells can get kind of weird when you're good at it. When I was 10/11ths in school, if someone left a jumper on the playground and it didn't have a name in it, I would just smell it and give it back to whoever owned it. Once I grew up a bit more, I realized it was weird to smell people's clothes, so I stopped, but I can still recognize someone's possessions just by their smell. You must have a crazy good sense of smell. Mine's pathetic. I doubt I could even pick up my GFS or family's smell on their clothes, let alone schoolyard kids. I think it helped that I went to a fairly small school with 60 kids per year, so the number of smells weren't too overwhelming, but yeah, I definitely have a strong sense of smell. No idea why or how though. Never tell your boss if you streamline your work. They will expect you to do it every time at the same speed. I used to have a weekly project that would take me 4 hours to do. Streamlined it to 30 mins, and told my boss, so now that's 3.5 hours of Reddit I no longer get. I played myself. Edit, I will agree to the sentiment that this isn't too great an idea when you are looking for promotion, or could be on the chopping block. I say keep your cards close to your vest when you're safe and content with your work, but play them when it's necessary. Every place I've worked I always memorize each and every person. Names, physical features, and vehicle. Usually in case of an emergency, because you never know. It takes time, but you learn a lot. Hayde White. Everyone has a pattern to which they form passwords. My parents are the simplest, just phone numbers with a few letters here and there. It'd be dead simple to guess their passwords sometimes, that it's almost worrying. I honestly just look around me when picking a password, then stick a few random numbers on the end. Makes for some good ones, like WAFFLESCRUBS28, or FORDSLIPPERS94, not actual passwords for all you hackers out there. My boss was setting up my time tracking account, and it didn't work. He had to try to log in with him. I told him the shortcut to open an incognito window in Chrome, Ctrl+Shift+N. But thinking about it, the shortcut is much more useful to a developer who has to test logins or unauthorized access occasionally than to your average Mazdator. I also think, if you are just searching stuff, incognito is brilliant. Stops your URL search bar being filled with crap because you wanted to know how far the moon was, or what time a match is on. Some time ago we dropped my girlfriend's parents home after dinner to find that they had locked themselves out of their house. Her dad was going to break a window, but it was raining and cold, so he was a little reluctant. My girlfriend had a grooming kit in her handbag, hair clips, tweezers, and so on. Me, being a bottle of wine in, thought I'd try picking a lock for the first time ever, but I'd seen it in video games, so how hard could it be? It turns out that it was ridiculously easy, and I had them inside their house within 30 seconds of getting started. I was jiggling something around and all of a sudden the lock popped open. They haven't looked at me the same way since. If this is an everyday skill, but I'm still gonna comment. I was a bartender for years and years. I used to memorize what people drank, like to the point of creepy. Example, someone could come in one time then stop in 6 more later, and I would remember what they drank. I got called out on it a few times. One guy's in particular found it so strange. He came in, had a vodka gimlet and left. About 3 mo later came back in, and I looked at him and said vodka gimlet. And he told me that was kinda weird. I remember that. I tried to explain that it didn't make him special or anything. Tried explaining I couldn't remember names or even what we talked about, but I almost always remembered a customer's go to drink. He totally thought I was full of shit and had a crush on him or was creepy. It always hurt my feelings when people acted put off by it, because I thought it was pretty effing cool of me. I would be impressed if I was on the other side of that bar. Whatever I should have said, I always remember the drinks I poisoned, but that would have cost me my job and maybe landed me on probation. Sorry for the effing novel. Okay, I'm done. You'd be my favorite bartender in the world. I don't go out enough to have a regular spot or get recognized places. Yet always wanted to stupid movie go to of just getting the usual. If I only saw you once every few months and could still get the right drink off the usual, I'd make my bloody night. The usual sounds fun until every bartender in town has an idea of what your usual is, and they look so damn pleased when they just serve it up to you before you've even sat down. And effing damn it, highly I was in the mood for a margarita today, but yeah, G&T is totally my normal drink. Thanks so much, you're the best. I usually muster the courage to order what I really want by the third drink or so, which is tough because at lunch I really only planned on having the one, but here we are. Bonding with kids. Why is my kid seemingly fascinated with rando in the checkout lane? It's cause I work with kids and apparently give off a vibe about it, I guess. IDK, I'm just trying to buy my groceries, not get weird looks from parents. Edit. Oh my gosh, this blew up. I'm a woman, and I've seen a lot of comments from guys, and I sympathize with you. I've had to actually have this talk at least once with a male company worker at a preschool. He was talking about how he didn't think the parents liked him. I and another teacher had to break the news to him that, unfortunately, parents are just not trusting in why a man would want to work with small children. We reassured him that if he just keeps being open and friendly, many of them would come around, but yeah, it's an automatic judgment that he would just have to deal with. This happens to me. Growing up with two cousins 10 and 14 years younger than me made me very good with handling kids. Apparently I give off a fatherly vibe or something. Kids love me. It is weird as hell and makes me uncomfortable. Moreover, this affection I have with kids cock-blocked my first kiss with my girlfriend. We were at a park. As I leaned in, a little bugger came to play with us. He seemed around 4. My girlfriend, who loves kids, she's super maternal, goes in and starts playing instead of kissing me. The kid wanted to play with me instead. Worst part is, he was speaking Dutch. I don't speak Dutch. I didn't understand shit of what he said to me. Edit. That effing typo. Started a new job recently. Much higher station than I'm used to, working around suit-tie professionals, and having to learn the politics game, etc. So one Friday night my new boss recommends that the team, 6 of us, head over to the bar down the road to shoot some pool. Place was very fancy. I'm talking gold leaf gilding along the wall paneling, extremely elaborate pool table set in the middle, private waitress just for our area, the works. So my boss is apparently an avid pool player, as he looked to tell us. Out of respect I would just nod and act impressed when he would try to explain this to us. I didn't want to tell him I'd grown up on a table and played in leagues tournaments nearly nightly. We start to play, and the new guy gets to play the boss first. It quickly becomes awkward. Boss starts making a series of uncomfortable excuses as to why he's losing, starting with the lighting and ambience to the cloth quality of the table to the size of the balls. I told myself to miss on purpose more than once, but I couldn't do it. It felt deceitful. So the game ended pretty quickly, and the boss began asking me a series of questions about the smoke and alcohol-filled bars I'd spent my time in learning this skill. Ultimately it helped me gain some respect going forward with boss and team, but it was a very awkward couple of hours reflecting and giving my boss a brief window into my unsavory, bar-crawling past. Remembering things. People can find it creepy, and it's often more favorable to pretend you forgot something, or need a few seconds to recall it, or just generally act like you know less, or are aware of less than you actually do. And no, I'm not saying I have some photographic genius level memory, or am incredibly perceptive or something, but it still applies, and it's often silly, and feels like wasting time, and sometimes it's transparent when other people do it too. the ability to count cash very quickly.